the stuff in the exhibition, press all those buttons, and do the Shakespeare karaoke, you're more than welcome to come round again. After you've finished with me, hold on to your tickets, wave them at the entrance, and you can do it all in your own time. And the other thing is, please feel free to use your cameras, videos, whatever you like, whenever you like. Hello, you coming to join us? I'm just saying hello. Now, what I have in mind to do is have us imagine that we are in Shakespeare's day. It is the year of our Lord 1600, and the Globe is brand new, and it's the hottest entertainment spot in town. And I'm going to have us go into the theatre as if we were Londoners of Shakespeare's day. So you see for yourselves how it worked for them when the plays were all brand new, and how it's going to work for us when we start doing our summer season in May, the beginning of May. Now, what I want to do is get us all up onto the piazza. I want to tell you a bit about this part of town, why theatres came here in the first place. Now, what we've got here are 44 steps. If you prefer to use the lift, my colleague Harry standeth there, more than able to press those buttons. So you've got a choice here. It's mirrored him. There's only one way to go, and that's up. Go with me, join Harry, and we'll all meet at the top of the stairs. Now, he represents all those licensed rowing boats who were the taxi cabs of London in Shakespeare's day. They would bring you over the river from the old city over there to this part of town for fun and games. He's got a little drink. Now, gather round me as closely as you dare, and let's imagine Shakespeare's day. Now, the first thing we would have seen in those days was the flag flying at the Globe. And it would tell us, even if we couldn't read or write, and we knew when the flag flew, it meant there was a play. Then we would come over the river from the old city over there to this part of town. Now, this is where I have to show you. This part of town was outside the legal control of the old city over there, because we're talking about London in Shakespeare's day. London wasn't this endless thing that we've got now, you know, like from here to the sea. Pretty well, London was what you see over there. As you know, we still call the city there the square mile. But London literally was a square mile in Shakespeare's day. It still had ancient walls all the way round it. 7 gates where you went in and you came out. And this part on the bank side here was outside the legal control of the city, because this part of town belonged to the church. Oh, we're talking big stuff here. We're talking the bishops of Winchester. Oh, I should be on my knees saying the words. The bishops of Winchester. Weren't they just the richest, the most powerful princes of the church in the old days when that really meant something? And for centuries, the bishops owned about 50 acres of land here on the bankside, and they had their London palace on the bankside. You can still see a bit of it. If you walk along the riverbank, just before you get to London Bridge, you go past the Great Hall, the last wall that survives of the bishop's great hall where they had all their parties. And I understand those boys could really party. Anyway, I have to tell you, it was a question of the right money, getting into the right pockets. And if that came about, you could do more or less what you wanted in this part of town. And this included licensed, I'm going to be very tasteful here, I'm going to call them houses of pleasure. Oh, I see I've come too late to know what I'm talking about here. Yes, 24 of them, licensed by Act of Parliament back in 1161, and they survived nearly 400 years along the bankside here on the bishop's land because the money went into the bishop's pockets. I've shocked you long enough. The other thing we'd have come across the town for, horrible things like bear baiting. Have they told you about bear baiting? Bears, you know, big old bears, all the way from Russia, and dogs. And we would have come over the river. I hate having to do this, but I have to. We would have come over the river to enjoy blood. Oh, they loved all that. Dog fighting, cock fighting, badger baiting, bull baiting. Well, it was Fun City, this side of the river. Anything they wouldn't let you do over there, this is where you came to do. But, and the gentlemen will say no to temptation on the backside. I hope they do, because in the theatre, in my imaginary ear, the trumpet is sound. And that means the play is going to start. So what we're going to do, in our imaginations, get our Shakespeare hands into our imaginary Shakespeare pockets, bring out one imaginary Shakespeare penny, and we're going to put it into an imaginary Shakespeare pot by the doorbell, because we're going into the theatre, and we're going to be groundlings. Now what's a groundling? I'm the one to show you. Follow me. Is the groundling thrill, because there's nothing quite like it. So imagine on the stage there, love and hate, war, singing, dancing, sword fighting. Groundlings can be as up close and personal to the action. So come as close as you dare to get the thrill of it. And there's another thing. The groundlings can see. Nobody sees it like a groundling sees it. Our friends up in the top gallery there can't see it like we do. And that is what we call the heaven. See the roof of the stage there with the gilded crisscross bits there. A 22-carat gold leaf, very thin, quite real. It's all up there. And you see why we call it the heavens. There's the sun, there's the moon, painted on, signed with the zodiac, the golden circle there. And in the middle there you see that floor. It's a trap door. Gods and goddesses come down from the heavens at the end of a road to solve all our problems. Oh, if only. And groundlings see that best. But when we look up at the real heaven, you see the groundling from, and we're open air. And that is the style. I'm only saying that because I had a group earlier this morning who said how clever to paint clouds. Move Yeah, it is the sky. And when it rained, groundlings got wet. In Shakespeare's day, groundlings still get wet. So if we had 2 pennies in our Shakespeare pockets, perhaps some fun with clothes, we could have the luxury of seating. And I want you to share it with me. So 2 pennies out of our Shakespeare pockets. But so when you see the clothes that they wore in Shakespeare's day, you see they upholstered themselves rather more than they did their furniture. Now, back to Shakespeare's day. I'm told they would pack 1,000 Londoners into the yard there in Shakespeare's day, standing to see the play, if they had a hit on the stage. Well, we're not allowed to have 1,000 people in the yard. Health and safety. Well, let us have 700 people, maximum, standing, but we still have people standing in the yard to see the play, and we still call them the groundlings. But Shakespeare's day, they had a nastier name for the people in the yard. They used to call them the penny stinkards. Well, visitors to London, please be assured, it's not a word we use anymore, I'm glad to say. What we're talking about here is 1,000 Londoners who would never have a bath in their entire lives. I mean, hands and face, cold water, splattered about. And also, I have to tell you, there were no toilets whatsoever. So imagine a hot summer's day, 1,000 stinkards in the yard there, even when we were used to it, could be a bit much. So if we had 3 pennies in our Shakespeare pocket, we could go up into the gallery. And I'm going to get us up into the gallery because wherever you go in the globe, you get a different view of the action on the stage. And everybody has a favourite place to see the play. And there are other deals. Do you see, next to the stage, 2 like separate rooms on the first gallery, 2 more up there, where they've got chairs in. Now those are called the gentlemen's rooms. Shakespeare's day, if we had 12 pennies in Shakespeare's money to have some fun at the Globe, we could book one of those rooms and we could have a party. We could pack our friends in, eating, drinking, carrying on, occasionally looking down to see who's stabbing who, essentially readers. I'm going to get us into the gentlemen's rooms because I want you to get a taste of high life here at the Globe. But the most expensive seats in the theatre in those days, and we think this is very strange indeed, they were at the back of the stage. Now you see the wall that goes across the back there. You see at each end, there's a door where you can imagine the actors come onto the stage. Over each of those doors, there's a tiny little gallery. Now those are called the Lord's Rooms. And we wouldn't get to sit there in Shakespeare's day unless we were lords, or very rich. And we would have paid 6 pennies each in Shakespeare's money to sit at the back. Well, we think that's a bit odd, really. I mean, your stick cards, they get wet, they get wobbly.